Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly astrology forecast for February 10th through February 17th. The biggest transit that is happening this week is the full moon in the sign of Leo, and there are a bunch of activations to Uranus. So expect shocking news, unexpected events unfolding, and maybe more clarity into what direction you might need to take. But before we get into it, I wanted to first say happy Black History Month. February is Black History Month here in the US, but I believe globally. And it's really important to educate yourself on Black historians, Black leaders, Black thought leaders, writers, artists, because Black history is American history. The second thing I wanted to mention is Free Congo. If you don't know what is happening in the Democratic Republic of the Congo right now, this is your opportunity to learn. I've learned a lot through TikTok, and I've learned through a lot of content creators who are specifically speaking about this issue. Now, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, there are illegal mines for minerals like coltan and cobalt. The DRC is one of the wealthiest, richest countries in the world in terms of minerals and natural resources, but the Congolese people do not own their own wealth. And these minerals are used to power our devices like our laptops, our phones, even electric cars. And so this is driven by capitalism, by our consumer demands. And so you don't need a new phone every year. You don't need a new laptop every year. I mean, I finally upgraded my phone to a new to me phone after having my iPhone 10 for almost a decade. So this incessant need for more and better is literally harming people in the global south, specifically in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where there's an ongoing genocide. And it's just a really, really horrible crisis that has been going on for way too long. And so companies like Apple, Tesla, and Samsung, they control these mines. And again, this doesn't have to happen. They can have a fair trade for resources and labor, but this is modern day slavery. I just had to say that because I have a platform and it's my responsibility to also be completely real with you of what is going on in the world right now. And if I have an opportunity to shed light on some of the things that are happening and how our consumer behaviors and demands and needs affect that, then this is my opportunity. So the only recap I have of last week really is just this ongoing Trump administration and the havoc it is causing to our nervous system. So last week, Jupiter stationed direct in the sign of Gemini, and Trump is a Gemini sun with the North Node in Gemini, and he is a master of chaos. Right. He signed all of these executive orders the first week he became president. And he really does like causing chaos and mess, but that is ultimately to dysregulate our nervous systems, because when you are dysregulated, when you are disembodied, when you are in the fear state, is when you're easier to control. So again, I've been just saying this over and over again. During these times, it's really important to take time off to listen to your body, listen to your intuition, because that part of you is the part of you that's going to tell you what next steps you need to take. It is the most intelligent and wise part of you. We are also human and we have fear responses. So it's important to also take care of your mind, body, and spirit at this time, because there are, yes, not everything is love and light. There are nefarious and dark energies out there trying to grab your attention and your energy. So I'm filming this on February 9th. I wanted to do it today because it's a Mercury Cazimi at 20 degrees of Aquarius. And today is the Super Bowl. And it just so happens that Trump is going to the Super Bowl. He will be the first US president to attend. And he is going to be a huge part of the news this week, I believe. Stephanie and I just released our February forecast of 2025. And we mentioned during this time that from February 10th through the full moon in Leo on February 12th, there were just going to be a lot of different events unfolding and news stories because Mercury and Uranus are a part of this lunation. And so you really want to take the time to have discernment and take care of your nervous system when there's just so much going on at the same time. So let's start with February 10th. Mercury in Aquarius will square Uranus and Taurus at 23 degrees. And so, like I mentioned, on February 9th, the day before, there was a cazimi. And a cazimi is when the sun and Mercury come together in the sky, called a conjunction. And when this happens, some news story, something is revealed. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. It is a fixed air sign. So this might have something to do with the collective unconscious, networks, groups, community. And like I said, on February 9th, there is a huge event here in the United States, the Super Bowl. So a lot of people are gathering, not only in New Orleans, where this event is taking place, but also around the country and possibly around the world. I don't know how big the Super Bowl is globally, but many people are getting together on this day. Also, on February 9th, just as another recap, Mars in Cancer will trine Saturn in Pisces, and Mars is still retrograde. So on Monday, February 10th, Mercury, the planet of communication, and it is the communicator of the planets, actually. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, will square in a 90-degree angle, which is a conflict. It's an activating aspect with Uranus, which is the planet of unexpectedness and shock and revelation and revolution in the sign of Taurus at 23 degrees. And now Uranus is direct. So some surprising news can come about, something is being revealed, and that's pretty much the energy of this week. Like something is revealed that you weren't expecting, and this could be going on in your own personal life or in the collective or both. And because Uranus has this sort of unexpected nature, like who knows what this is going to entail. The same day, on February 10th, the moon will enter Leo at around noon Eastern time. And the first aspect the moon will make is an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. So again, like oppositions are the nature of a full moon. So the moon will oppose Pluto, something underground might come to the surface because Pluto is the lord of the underworld. And actually, Mercury is the only planet who is Mercury is Hermes in Greek mythology, and Hermes was the only one allowed into the underworld, ushering in the dead. The moon will make a trine to Venus, which is now in Aries, and it's pre-shadow before the Venus retrograde, and will then sextile Jupiter in Gemini. So the moon does make really cute aspects as well. On February 11th, the sun in Aquarius will square Uranus and Taurus at 23 degrees. So you want to look at fixed sign placements in and around like 21 to 25 degrees because the squares are activating points. Like there's two things going on at the same time that are in conflict with each other. So the sun brings illumination, the sun brings life to things, and then square to Uranus again, Uranus being the planet of awakening, revelation, rebellion, revolution. And just like I was watching videos the other day of, I don't even know if I could say this on YouTube, but schmatzis in Cincinnati, Ohio, they were carrying flags around, and there was a group of, it looked like Black men who were counter protesting the schmatzis. And this is very much sun square Uranus energy. There's like a group of people who are trying to literally promote fascism, and in their own way they think that's revolution, right? And then another opposing force comes in to counter protest. So there could be some protest energy also this week, just as an FYI. And also, please be safe out there. Please just be aware of your surroundings. On February 12th, this is a very big day. This is the full moon in the sign of Leo at 24 degrees. And this becomes exact at 8:53 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm actually going to show the chart for this one, as I try to do with all lunations. So here is the full moon in Leo. And I set this to New York, New York. So, like I mentioned, full moons are the aspect of an opposition. So, we have the sun here at 24 degrees of Aquarius, and we have the moon in Leo at 24 degrees. Now, the moon represents our body. The moon represents our emotional body, our emotions, our emotional needs, our sense of safety and security, our home, and our vessel. And Leo is the sign of creativity, expression, courage. And Leo is a very royal sign, opposing the sun in Aquarius. Now, the sun is in, it's not in its favorite place, as we say. It's in its detriment in the sign of Aquarius, because the sun is at home in Leo. So it is interesting that the sun in a more collective place is talking about how you, like, what is your role in the collective? What is your role in the community? Because both Leo and Aquarius talk about authenticity and individualism. Leo does that through expressing its light out. Leo knows how to follow its heart and how to shine. Whereas the sun in Aquarius really likes to illuminate itself within the collective, but both speak about authenticity. And so this full moon is really showing the opposition between like your individual need of safety and security, of knowing thyself, versus the collective, versus the community or collective consciousness, if you will. And that is very much the energy of right now. A lot of the conversations I've been having with other people is about our specific gift that we bring to this world, because you're just meant to come here to do your thing. It gets overwhelming sometimes when you're like, what do I do? How do I help? How am I to be of service? But that is where the Leo moon is to ask your heart, to ask yourself, what is it that I came here to do? What are my gifts? What are my talents? And how am I supposed to express that out into the world? And how do I belong in the greater collective, in the greater community, right? Because sometimes those things also don't go hand in hand. For example, I am both Korean and American. And a lot of times those identities clash, because Korean culture is very filial. It is based on tradition, and it's based on respect of elders. And you don't speak back to your elders, specifically your parents and grandparents. And it goes in a very hierarchical structure, and it's very collective in nature. And there are wonderful things about that. And then there's some limiting things about that. Whereas American culture, US American culture, the way I grew up, was very individualistic, and it's very like, I'm out for myself. And those two things can, for me, be confusing, because it's like, I want to shine and do my own thing outside of my family, but then just being American and trying to achieve this individual dream is just not a part of how I was raised. My success is my family's success, and I have to take them into consideration. And so that like duality is very much that moon sun opposition, this full moon moment being like, okay, how can I integrate both? How can I show up in my US American upbringing is also, I grew up born and raised in New York, which is also a different flavor, right? And also honor my culture, all honor my tribe, honor my community, because tribe is like people that have the same, I guess, ethnicity and race as you versus community where we have mutual values and morals. So this is square to Uranus, as I mentioned, the days before this full moon in Leo, where you have the sun square Uranus and the moon will square Uranus before the exact full moon. So there's something about this that needs to break free, some stagnant, because Taurus is a fixed earth sign, something that has been fixed needs to like pop. And that kind of energy, some people have been waiting for and are excited for. And some people that might be disruptive, kind of like the tower moment. It's like, oh, this is happening, and you cannot go back to the way things were. So it is a very, like, depending on how you respond to change, this could be the change you've been waiting for, where the universe kind of steps in and is like, okay, this is going to change. This is going to disrupt your life. We're wiping away the old and now we're going to the future. And some of you might have been asking for this, or some of you not. And you're just like, oh, okay. I really like that job. Why did I get fired, for example? And having this happen, if it's your job or a relationship or a home situation, is very disruptive, because those are the things that we need to survive. We need community to survive. We need our basic needs met, and we need like, we live in capitalism, so we need money to exist here. So I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm just saying that you might want to take a step back and try to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, this is happening for a reason. It might have been something that I actually asked for, because like you can't call in, you can't bring in the new if you're still holding on to the old and the past. And I know that's something that is not easy either. But from my experience, that's usually how it happens. It's like you set intentions, and then you pray and you're asking for this change, and then all of a sudden it's like universe is like, here we go. You've asked for it and it's happening. So that is the full moon in Leo. It is very exciting. Again, like I'm observing and I'm going to witness what's happening around me. But again, I just hope that I hope for all of you and for all of us that we are praying for the highest timeline. And sometimes the highest timeline is the more difficult road. And I truly believe that Donald Trump being president is the highest timeline, because that is what's going to awaken and expedite change faster. And so if you listen to the February forecast with Stephanie Campos and I, we really did get into Donald Trump's chart and Elon Musk's chart. So you want to go check that out. But this full moon in Leo is activating both of their charts, both Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So TBD, we shall see. And on February 14th, which I guess is Valentine's Day here, they celebrate Valentine's Day in other places besides the US, but Mercury will enter the sign of Pisces. And as somebody who has Mercury in Pisces, this is a very dreamy, very poetic placement. It is when Mercury, the messenger of the gods, enters the unity consciousness of Pisces, of the artistic nature of Pisces, the musicality of Pisces, and you're able to kind of channel some divine messages through your art, maybe through poetry, maybe through writing, maybe through film. And it's just a really lovely, I mean, I personally think it's lovely because I have it, but yes, Mercury in the sign of Pisces is in its detriment and its fall because Mercury is in Jupiter's sign. So instead of Mercury paying attention to the little detail, Mercury's like, let's dream, let's like be a little delulu. Now, this is significant because, like I mentioned, both Mercury and Venus will retrograde between Aries and Pisces in the month of March. So, whatever's going on now, just pay attention to, journal, whatever comes through. This will be your pre shadow moment, and you will be reviewing and reflecting over the course of March when Mercury re enters the signs. Mercury re-enters Pisces and Venus re-enters Pisces. Oh my god, why can't I talk? But yeah, that is the forecast for this week. Again, expect the unexpected, expect news, expect change, expect revelations, and again, protest energy. And I just hope for all of your safety and security, and that we just all pray for the highest timeline and for the good of all involved. So I will see you next week and be safe, everyone. Bye.